Now, if you look at the way we are going about it, I've said that what we can only achieve is family farming or domestic farming.
Why do you think so?
Yeah, because when people engage in subsistence farming, they will only feed themselves. A nation that wants to focus its revenue or economic growth on agriculture, then you need to engage the tax policy. And the tax policy, you need the agri ministry to be involved. You need Ministry of Trade to be involved. You need Ministry of Transportation to be involved. For example, if you want people to invest massively in agriculture, then the tax policy will provide the incentive where investors, people who have succeeded in other industries, for example, so many people have made their mark in oil and gas, they can divide those funds into agriculture. In the US, most private jet owners are actually people in agriculture.
So what kind of tax policies will there be to encourage them to get into agriculture, as you're making examples?
So, for example, if you want people to bring money to invest massively in agriculture, you develop a tax policy that will ensure that when they engage in farming, they will enjoy some tax incentive. Even the banks or institutional investors that are going to give them those funds, there should be also tax incentive. Now, when you do that, you know you are working along the value chain of that agri sector. So people will be willing to bring in funds to invest in agriculture. And when you have the business mongoose of this world investing in agriculture, then you discover that you are indirectly or directly eliminating your unemployment challenges. Because what you hear today is governors of states or people encouraging even civil servants to invest in farming. What we are just simply telling them is they should try and feed themselves. But a nation that wants to grow or base its economic progress on agriculture, then you must develop that, you must bring that framework, and the tax policy gives you that basis for you to attract the right caliber of investors to come into that sector. And there are several examples. Now, let's look at what the custom is doing, because this tax policy also talks about how revenue generation should be transparent. Now, the custom says they want to ban importation of goods through the land borders. And after a few weeks, they said they want to start collecting duties from old cars. You know, that kind of policy does not augur well for, or will not promote any economic growth. Very simple. The custom, if you think that goods are being smuggled into this country or cars are coming in without paying duties, you don't need to ban any cars from coming in. There are technologies, there are satellite technologies that you can deploy in your borders and monitor everything that is coming in. So that is where, you see, customs need to work with Ministry of Science and Technology and get all this. You don't need to ban people. In modern economies...
So if they do the ban now, that means they're reducing the economic growth in a sense.
Definitely. You are reducing economic growth. And if you look at the principles of economic growth, it's leverage on open market and less restrictions from government. So now, when you engage in banning, what that means is that you are not competitive. Your economy is not competitive. And these are the things that this tax policy have come to address. Today we cry that the percentage of tax revenue in relation to our GDP is very, very small. It's because we are not competitive. And this document is supposed to let us look at the big picture rather than chasing revenue. Let's look at what can we do. How can we improve the business arena for companies, organizations to thrive and pay taxes.
You know, if you talk about looking at the bigger picture, and then we have some items having, there are suggestions to have more tax for champagne, for instance, as we heard the finance minister.
Luxury goods.
Does that in any way, how does that affect or improve the economy? I don't understand. Does that bring about growth if you have to increase taxes on some categories of goods?
Now, taxation itself is essentially a tool for managing the economy. And this is something we have advocated. I can still recall the last time I was here, I said there's no need to have a single rate, a single VAT rate. And what they have done is perfect. So you control some consumption of certain goods, and by varying the VAT rate or the tax rate as the case may be. Now, this is not only for maybe the champagne or luxury goods. It should cost across all sectors. For example, a company that is just incorporated, you don't expect that company to pay the same tax rate with a company that has been in existence for the past 20 years or so.
It's a bad idea to just seclude the luxury goods and increase taxes on them.
Now, that is what edition ought to do. You understand? You look at the essentials of all the goods and services that is being produced in the nation, and by so doing, you can now look at the appropriate tax rate or duties that you can levy on those goods and services.
All right, and Chris David is a futurist and a tax expert. He's also the author of Tax Strategy. Thank you for coming on this morning.